So big news for the Oklahoma Sooners is they were able to convince talented running back in their own state, Xavier Robinson, to stay home and play for the Oklahoma Sooners over the likes of Iowa State and Notre Dame, something we've got to talk about. But inevitably, whenever we're talking about Xavier Robinson, we also need to ask the question, did Oklahoma just find a diamond in the rough? Something we aim to answer today. Before we can jump into all of this, y'all know the drill. I have got to hear from you. Give me a Y for yes, N for no. Same question I just asked. Do you believe the Oklahoma Sooners just found a diamond in the rough in Xavier Robinson? Let me know what you're thinking. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification as I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed the content, be sure to like and comment down below. Those interactions seem small. They are massive to content creators such as myself, and both getting picked up and maintained by the YouTube algorithm. And we are less than 800 subscribers away from our 20,000 subscriber goal. I'd love to have you a part of this unbelievable community. But having said all that, let's jump right into this. And as I stated, Xavier Robinson is an intriguing prospect, a prospect that ranks as a 3-star, and if we really follow his offer lists, it's really starting to ramp up right now. He stands 6'2", 220 pounds, and plays his high school football for Carl Albert in Oklahoma. And his junior year was filled with insane production. During the course of his junior year, he had 2,594 yards and 39 touchdowns and averaged over 9 yards per carry. So this is a big body running back that is able to utilize his size to be able to produce results. He has got moves for someone of his size, more surprising than you would believe. Anytime you hear 6'2", 220, you'd be remiss if you think this guy's just running north and south. And don't get me wrong, he certainly excels in running north and south, but I was surprised by how agile he is, and I think that's something that's really going to serve him as he transitions from the high school level to the college level, where in college there's a lot of people who are big, and yes, a 6'2" running back is massive, but being able to be big and agile, I think will serve him well. And for Oklahoma, you love that you were able to get this guy and keep him home, because as I asked in the intro, did Oklahoma just find a diamond in the rough? And the answer could very possibly be yes. Look, one thing we need to understand about recruiting is it's not a perfect science. Every year there are prospects that are rated as 3 stars that are unbelievable football players. They just didn't get the exposure that someone else did. So just because a prospect is a 3-star, that does not mean that they are going to be relegated to what some people perceive as 3-star production when they get to college. It just means that at the high school level, maybe they didn't get the exposure of some of the other guys. Maybe they didn't get to go to some of the camps, some of the circuits. In recruiting, anything can happen. There are so many kids who play high school football. Inevitably, there are going to be multiple people who fall through the cracks. And that's not necessarily the fault of the recruiting services. It's just understanding that there are a ton of kids who play football. There are a ton of kids who want to go to the next level. And inevitably, anytime in any industry, you're dealing with massive amounts of numbers and trying to weigh people, you're going to have people fall through the cracks. Case in point, a running back out the state of Oklahoma that I can instantly turn to and name is a Josh Jacobs, a prospect who up until he committed to Alabama was a 1 or 2-star prospect. For those of you watching this video, hop down to the comments, correct me whether he was a 1 or 2-star prospect. My memory is a little bit fuzzy now. Unfortunately, when you start doing this for a while, everything starts to blend together. But point being, that was a phenomenally gifted running back. And if you turned on his high school film, you would sit there and scratch your head and say, what's wrong? What's wrong with him? There's got to be something. Because turning on his high school film, he could do it all. But he was a guy that had next to no big-time offers. He was a guy that wasn't highly rated by any of the recruiting services, yet he goes to Bama and instantly makes his presence known and then finds his way to the NFL. Was he a 3-star talent? Absolutely not, but that proves the point. Inevitably, there are going to be players who are incredibly talented football players fall through the cracks and be rated as a 3-star prospect. Xavier Robinson is a name we have got to circle because he very easily could be one of these diamonds in the rough. Anytime you have a 6'2", 220-pound running back, that's intriguing because that is a massive running back. Anytime you have a 6'2", 220-pound running back who's also running track at a high level, who's running for almost 3,000 yards at over 9 yards a carry, and helping their team to a state title, That's very compelling. So this is a name we've got to keep up with. Circle the name, because it's going to be really interesting to see what happens during the course of his senior season, because if he puts up another 2,500 yards during his senior year, that'd be 5,000 yards alone in 2 years, which is just absolutely insane production to think about, and I think it'd be kind of hard to ignore him. It's going to be super interesting to see where he ends up in the rankings, because we see time and time again, sometimes when these prospects, who are largely unknown prospects, commit to a Power 5 school, their rankings will start to increase. They'll fly up the recruiting board, and that could easily happen with a Xavier Robinson. Look, point being is this. This is a big-time pickup for DeMarco Murray and the Oklahoma Sooners, because you get to keep him home, and if you like his game, there's not too many other guys that are going to give you the same skill set at 6'2", 220 pounds. So if you find someone you like, add them in. Super intrigued to see what this means for the rest of the Oklahoma Sooners running back recruiting, as they are after other guys such as Taylor Tatum and Caden Durham. And if they could pull off all three, well, I think that would be music to Sooner fans' ears everywhere. But I can't wait to hear from all of you. Hop down to the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. That's it. See ya.